Hi, everybody. It's Dr. Steven. Listen, there is a number of fears, or there are a number of fears that come to play that keep us from cultivating momentum. One of them is the fear of plugging in. What do I mean by that? Well, I'm going to give you a very concrete example. I ran into a woman at the laundromat a handful of days ago. She was doing laundry there because her washing machine actually wasn't working. At least she thinks it wasn't. And she began to describe how much she hates coming to the laundry. And I came because, well, my washing machine broke down. And quite frankly, it's a pretty hefty penny to replace it. And I want to get the right one, not a piece of junk. So I haven't made the purchase yet. Nevertheless, the woman began to describe for me how much she hates the laundromat. And she described that she actually had what she believes to be a perfectly good washing machine at home, but that she hasn't plugged it in because the grounding cord came in contact with water. Well, I think that's a reasonable fear, not to plug in because the grounding cord came in contact with water. Water and electricity don't mix. However, as she went on, I discovered that her fear of plugging that grounding cord in was the result of something that happened a year ago. It was a year ago that her grounding cord came in contact with water. And instead of allowing it to dry or seeking professional advice as to what to do next, she allowed the pervasive fear of plugging in to hold her hostage, so that to this day, she's been doing laundry at a laundromat she hates, spending time doing laundry that she could have been using and allocating in a different direction, all because she allowed the pervasive fear of plugging in to keep her from cultivating the momentum in what she valued most, which is saving time doing laundry in her own home, where she can not only just do laundry, but master or utilize the time to get other things done. So she wasn't in a situation like me that had a device that has completely gone to puts, but she is someone who may very well have a very viable resource at home. So how do you address this issue of the fear of plugging in? Well, first, before we talk about that, let me just name something for you that may not already be obvious, is that the fear of plugging in can be so pervasive that it causes us to stop thinking rationally. The fear of plugging in can be so enormous that it causes us to stop thinking rationally. It could result from an event that we didn't expect to happen, a traumatic event that suddenly came upon us that disrupted our cognitive flow or our cognitive belief or our belief that things could change. It was so upsetting, so disrupting, that after a while we settled into it as normal and allowed the lack of power that could be funneling into our life to not make the connection, because we've allowed a prior fear that once was reasonable to continue to hold us hostage in a new time, a new context, a new environment. A lot happens in a year. I'm sure a lot has happened for that woman in a year. So that's the first thing I want you to recognize, that the pervasive nature of fear can really hold us hostage and keep us from plugging in. Here's the other thing. The logic that gets handicapped, or the logic that gets stolen from us, also leads us to avoid assistance, avoid seeking for help. What she could have done, even if she didn't feel comfortable herself, waiting 72 hours, waiting a week before she plugged that grounding cord back in, took the risk to plug it back in, she could have called a professional. She could have called someone who was knowledgeable, who can give her some clear-cut advice as to whether or not the fear she had from the past was still a fear that held value and relevance. And as she called a professional electrician, someone to evaluate the situation for her, something she could have done in a handful of days, she could then be equipped with the information she needed to help her determine, one, yes, my fear still has relevance, or no, I can move forward and plug in again, and re-engage the power that I need to move forward and cultivate the momentum that I need, because she got the counsel that could help her make the informed decision. Don't allow a past fear, a historical fear from another point in time in your life to continue to hold you hostage in the present when you have not opened yourself up to counsel, wisdom, advice, professional help that can give you the keys of understanding as to whether or not that fear is still something to hold on to or something you should count invalid so that you can move ahead. So, fear number one, momentum thief number one, the fear of plugging in. I've just given you some wise counsel and some direction on how you can overcome it. I hope you take advantage of it so that you can take care and live.